Pedro Gimino from the family Chantel has insulted Chantel Everett and her family on the show several times, but these 10 instances are the worst. Pedro from the Dominican Republic met Chantel through a mutual friend when Chantel was looking for a Spanish tutor. Pedro used to work as a language tutor back then. Chantel had gone to meet him and fallen in love with Pedro. He proposed to Chantel on her third trip to the doctor, but Chantel lied to her parents and never told them she was engaged. Chantel was at fault for her family's disapproval of Pedro, because she had lied about why Pedro was in the U.S. After his K-1 visa was approved, Chantel and Pedro said that he was in America on a student visa. Ever since then, Chantel's parents were convinced he was trouble. Chantel's parents accused Pedro of marrying their daughter to get a green card. Meanwhile, Pedro and his family treated Chantel badly. Pedro did nothing to change their opinion. Pedro stayed married to Chantel for almost 7 years. Pedro only broke up with Chantel once he became a U.S. citizen. Getting a green card could have been difficult for Pedro if he had broken up earlier. As years passed, and he had to fake his love for Chantel, he became more and more irritable towards her. He started acting like he was single until he filed for divorce in May 2022. Corima and Nicole Gimino were childhood friends. They grew up together in the Dominican Republic, and Corima developed a huge crush on her friend's older brother. Corima created a major scandal in the lives of Pedro and Chantel during Happily Ever After. Season 4, Chantel was in Atlanta at the time, and Pedro had returned to his native country for some time. He went out with his friends and took some 10 shots of alcohol. Pedro took off his wedding ring and put it at the bottom of a drink. Pedro got quite cozy with Corima on the dance floor. She declared she was interested in him. Corima didn't have much hope for Pedro and Chantel's relationship. She had somehow predicted their breakup years ago. When Chantel saw the video, she thought it was some random woman Pedro was dancing with. Chantel realized Corima was a friend of Nicole's who wanted to date Pedro when Nicole showed Chantel the full video. Chantel wanted to get rid of everything she had shared with Pedro in her past, and it included their house. Chantel approached a realtor about selling the house where she lived with Pedro and came face to face with her ex 9 months after their split. Chantel had organized a yard sale to get rid of the stuff in the house. She got to keep everything after their divorce and didn't want to do anything with Pedro's belongings. Pedro had left behind some of his prized possessions, including his gardening tools and his gaming chair. Pedro used to spend more time at his gaming station than with Chantel. He was always playing video games with his headphones on, pretending not to hear Chantel. When he did start having an active social life, he didn't.